Welcome to LifePoint TV. I'm Pastor Dale Phillips, your host for LifePoint, your path to real life. I want you to join me in the Old Testament. Let's find the book of Exodus, chapter 33. Exodus, chapter 33. I want to call your attention to verse 15 in particular. Actually, I'm going to start reading at verse 14. It says, "And he said, my presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest." I want you to pay attention to that. Verse 15 says, "And he said unto him, If thy presence go not with me, carry us not up hence." This is a direct, personal, face-to-face conversation between God and the great man Moses, the great patriarch of the Hebrew people, the deliverer, as he is known, the one who God used or raised up to bring his people out of exile, out of captivity, out of Egypt, and to lead them into the land of promise. And before they enter into the land of promise, this conversation that God is hosting with Moses on Mount Sinai, God says to him that my presence shall go with you to lead you. That's the preamble to this conversation. He says his presence will go with Moses and will give them rest. Now Moses responds with something very curious. He wants to make it clear, God, if your presence does not go with us, then don't take us up. Don't lead us into the land of promise. Let me share this with you. There is something uniquely significant when we are in the presence of God. This was a personal aspiration of the man Moses who asked if God would allow him to have this frontal, facial, one-to-one encounter with God. He wanted to be in God's presence. I would say to you and I as believers, there is something that changes the atmosphere when God is present. And so I want us to kind of just dig around into this concept in respect to what happens when God is present. One of the things I want us to analyze is what is absent when God is present. Let me say that again. What is absent when God is present? So let me give you a hint. Let me give you a clue here. The Bible says that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love and of power and of a sound mind. So listen, when God is present, fear is absent. Let me make sure you catch a hold of that. It's impossible for fear to remain present when God is present in our presence. Fear cannot coexist in the very presence of God. So when God is here, fear is not. So I want us to consider what happens when we are in the presence of God. More on this subject as we continue this study. Stay with us for more of LifePoint. God, this is Pastor Dale Phillips encouraging you to stay on the path that leads to real life.